Over the years, Marvel has put out so many good video games, but one of my favorite games, honestly, is Marvel's Midnight Suns. And with that, it got me thinking, what if I created my own video game? Obviously, I'd stick with the style of Marvel's Midnight Suns, seeing as that I think it would work best for the kind of concept that I'm going for. And what would I name this, you ask? I would name it Marvel's Defenders. That's right, it's going to be a video game focusing around the team called the Defenders. If you don't know who the Defenders are, they are a loose, unconventional team of superheroes who come together when powerful threats arise. Unlike traditional superhero teams, they aren't bound by rules or structure, just a willingness to protect the world when others can't. They were founded in 1972, and they have a long rotating cast of members, ranging from street-level fighters to cosmic beings. The Defenders are united by necessity, not loyalty. Now for the story. Just like in Marvel's Midnight Suns, where you had to fight Lilith, who is a giant threat to the Earth, I figured we could do something similar to that and choose to fight Dormammu as the main villain. And what Dormammu can do is he goes around corrupting all the other villains and turning them into basically puppets for him. If you aren't familiar with who Dormammu is, you might have seen him in the Doctor Strange movie. He was the main villain in that movie. He is the ruler of the Dark Dimension. He corrupts individuals by exploiting their vulnerabilities and promising eternal life, ultimately transforming them into a mindless, demonic servant. He manipulates followers, granting them dark magic to destroy Earth's sanctums while feeding off their energy and humanity. There are some characters that I would love to see in this game, and one of those characters is the Kingpin. Now, the Kingpin in the comics is a major threat. He is a major villain for multiple heroes, and that's exactly what he's going to be for the Defenders. He's already a very, very powerful character in the comics, but now he is corrupted by Dormammu, even becoming stronger than he normally is. And of course, he's going to have his own personal army, because you need minions to fight in the game, and he has the Hand. Yes, the ninja assassin organization, the Hand. He's obviously going to be a giant boss in the battle that you have to overcome with your team. Another character that is corrupted by Dormammu is Bullseye. Bullseye is obviously another threat, more of a street-level threat, but he's going to be working for the Kingpin, like he does in the comics. I'd love to see a stronger Bullseye, and if you know anything about Bullseye, he's already super powerful, like precision-wise. But imagine a more corrupted, mystical Bullseye that is a much bigger threat. Obviously going to be another boss that you have to deal with, probably a sub-boss in order to fight the Kingpin. Another character I'm thinking is Elektra. Elektra is also a street-level villain, quote-unquote, but in this version, she's going to be corrupted by Dormammu because of her past. I figured Dormammu can touch into that. And after you end up saving her and she is reformed, she can be brought onto your team as a playable character. Other bosses could include Kraven the Hunter, focusing on traps and stuff like that, and Mephisto. Dormammu amplifies his power, merges Hellfire with the Dark Dimension energy. Another crazy boss you could fight. To fight Dormammu, a team was assembled by Doctor Strange, but it was a team full of members that were unexpected. So the characters that are going to be on your roster to join the Defenders on your team is going to be, first, the 4 founding members, which is Doctor Strange, the Hulk, Silver Surfer, and Namor the Submariner. You'll also have more modern characters like Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, and Moon Knight. And since the Defenders is a revolving door of random characters, usually in the comics, I figured to add more characters that aren't traditionally on the Defenders, kind of like Midnight Suns did in their version of the game. Adding characters like Iceman, Iron Man, Ghost Rider, specifically Danny Ketch, Brother Voodoo, Nova, Beast, and Angel. Speaking of Angel, that also brings me to my next point, which is where the Defenders are going to be stationed at, their base. In the comics, the Defenders have many locations, but one of their home bases is a place called Angel's Eyrie. Angel's Eyrie is the home of the X-Men Angel. In my version of the game, his mansion is going to be in a pocket dimension that was created by Doctor Strange. Angels let you stay in the mansion, but in the beginning of the game, he's not a playable character. As I stated, Dormammu, one of his abilities is to corrupt people. So I figured, since Angel is known in the comics to turn into Archangel, which if you read the comics, he becomes part of the Four Horsemen and stuff like that with Apocalypse. I figured this version, he'd be corrupted by Dormammu, and you end up having to take you and your team to save him, and he becomes a playable character later on after you save him. The mansion already has lots of things that you can use for your team. In the mansion, it has a medical facility, an isolated biolab, it has a lounge for you and your friends, a racquetball court, so maybe you can have some events like you can hang out with your friends like you do in Midnight Suns, a kitchen and dining room, it's got a bunch of bedrooms, and I'm adding a forge, similar to the forge in Midnight Suns, so you have somewhere to craft your cards. Now for your character. I was thinking similar to Midnight Suns where you have a custom created character. Your character is an unknown up-and-coming hero named the Rook. You're named the Rook because you are the rookie, the new character that grows into something more powerful over time, like the chess piece. You could choose the style of gameplay that you want to pick. Unlike Marvel's Midnight Suns, where you have to either choose light or dark, I thought you could choose different types of classes. The first class option is the Bruiser. More like melee style combat, similar to Luke Cage, Daredevil, and Iron Fist. Bruisers thrive in close combat range and they're rewarded with aggressive gameplay. They're not very flashy, but they're reliable, tough, and dangerous up close. This is gonna be your main primary damage dealer. You're gonna have high stats in your physical attacks. This one's going to be similar attacks like knockbacks, stuns, and taunts. You're definitely gonna get in your opponent's face and do high damage to them. The next class option is Magic, or a mage, a magic user. Similar to Doctor Strange and the Silver Surfer, this character is going to focus more on support and mystical attacks. The main role of this character is, like I said, support. So things like debuffs and buffs increasing allied damage, high defense or speed, or even healing like restoring health or granting shields is going to be the main focus of this role. You're also going to have things like position manipulation, teleport enemies around or enemies, group enemies together for specific attacks. You're also going to have things like card/turn manipulation, things that help you draw extra cards, reduce cooldowns, or even give extra actions to characters. And of course, you're going to have magical-based attacks as well. You can't have a character without any attacks, of course. Doctor Strange even had attacks in Midnight Suns. The next class type is technological, similar to Iron Man. Your character is going to be more versed in technology than you are with magic or melee. Instead of doing raw damage or healing, this class is all about positioning enemies, setting up combos, and altering the battlefield. You can also have things like deployable things like turrets, drones, mines, things that can add long-term strategy to plays throughout the game. With those turrets and stuff, you can do things like mark your turrets, making it where marked turrets do more damage or something like that. You can tag your enemies, doing bonus damage for your teammates. You can also chain attacks, bouncing shots off of enemies or objects. There's a lot of strategy involved with the technological based one. The final class type I have is the Rogue/Stealth Assassin, however you want to classify it. It's going to be similar to Blade in Marvel's Midnight Suns, more aimed at slashing and projectiles. So your character's definitely going to have a sword. You're going to be focused mostly on that kind of stuff, like high burst damage, but your character has lower defense. Focus on invisible attacks, critical hits, and finishing off enemies. You can also do things like bleeding effects. That is going to be a very big thing for this style of combat. I also think having 4 different types of gameplay helps with replayability of the game. You can choose one for your first playthrough, and then you've got 3 other classes that do it for multiple playthroughs. Overall, I think this is going to be a fun game if it ever was created. It's just a fun idea I had. I just took tons of inspiration from Marvel's Midnight Suns, and this is basically a sequel that I think we should get. If you like this idea, please let me know in the comments. Again, this is just my stupid idea I had off my head, but it would be so cool if this actually happened, and I'll see you guys in the next video.